Pretty much exactly 1 year ago, my channel, the one that you're watching right now, got activated for monetization right after hitting the 1,000 subscriber mark. Now in this video, I want to share with you how things developed after that, how my growth went, how much I actually earned within that 1 year, and how much views I needed to get, how my RPM developed, what my highest grossing days were, and of course also how much I am earning as of right now. All of this taking into consideration that by now my channel is just at 2.5 or 2.8 thousand subscribers, which is amazing. However, it's not something that you would think makes a lot of money necessarily. I actually am positively surprised, but I also want to share with you my goals and also my pathway forward as to what I am working toward. Now, first things first, let's get some perspective by looking into the first month of monetization. And that is really interesting. On March 1st, 2020, I got monetized. However, it usually is not until 48 hours later that you actually also know how much you earned on any given day. So the earnings for March 1st, you only know on about March 3rd or March 4th, depending on your time zone and such things. Now for me, that first day was just a couple of cents. That probably has to do with the fact that on that day, I actually got the monetization activated instead of actually having it already activated on 28th of February and then going forward into March. However, looking at the next few days, I was actually surprised to see that it's not just $1 or under $1 a day, because that pretty much has been what I was used to with another channel that I created a couple of years ago with a friend of mine. Now here, we didn't see any earnings like I see now. However, we also didn't do as consistent in terms of the views, and it was a different topic. Now, with my first month on this channel, you can pretty much see that I was averaging about 2 euros every single day, and with that also ended the month with a total earning of 63 euros and 66 cents. Now that is great. However, that comes down to just under $75, and that means that it was not eligible for payout in that particular month, because you actually have to reach a certain threshold at which Google then pays out that money. However, combining this first month with the second month actually then reached that threshold, and that meant that the earnings from March of 2020 and April 2020 were actually paid out toward the end of May 2020. This is because the earnings from one month are usually paid out at the end of the following month around the 25th. Now, in my case, those are wire transfers to my German bank account, and those go through relatively quickly, and it is super easy because it's just one wire transfer. Other companies, like for example Amazon with the affiliate systems, there you have to register to all kinds of different websites for the affiliate network stuff to work in different countries, and then those different countries all collect their money separately, and then they transfer the money to your bank account once you reached a certain threshold as well. But it's not combined like it is with YouTube right here. A couple more interesting things about this first month is that my RPM was 3 euros and 82 cents, and the playback CPM was 11 euros and 44 cents. Now, if you're not familiar with those numbers, basically the CPM is the money that the advertiser pays for 1,000 views that get monetized. So 1,000 times the advertising is actually shown to a customer. Now, the CPM is not actually the amount of money that you receive as the YouTuber, because YouTube still takes a cut of that. And there's also to be taken into consideration that not every single view is getting monetized, because, for example, you also have people in the YouTube Premium program who don't see advertising, people who use ad blockers that also don't see advertising, and of course there are views that don't see advertising because they just have been served an ad before. So to basically make that a little bit easier for us YouTubers to understand and also get a sense for, recently YouTube actually introduced a number called the RPM, and that is the revenue per mille, and that means the revenue per 1,000 views. And basically with that, you take the views that you got in a certain time frame, divide those by 1,000, and then divide the money that you earned by that number that you just calculated, giving you the money earned per 1,000 views, no matter if those views specifically were monetized or they were not, and also taking into consideration just the amount that you as the YouTuber actually receive. In my case, that was 3 euros and 82 cents for March 2020. I find that number is really helpful because it gives you a real sense and also a much more easily accessible number with which you can calculate forward and also have a bit of a understanding as to how many views you need to reach a certain amount of income. Because the CPM is really a number that has too much baked into it and also is not considering views that don't get monetized. The RPM is much more transparent in that regard. Now, as I've mentioned before, in that first month, it was really exciting to see that it's not just a couple of cents every day that I earn with YouTube, but instead it is actually a couple of euros every single day. And the day with the highest revenue in March was actually March 25th with a revenue of 3.48 euros. And that was really mind-blowing at the time. It is truly amazing to just think that I have been making videos for 3 or 4 years at this point, publishing them on that channel. And now there's actually income being made from those videos. And that is really a game changer. And that then also sparked the question of how much do I have to grow to actually sustain my life just with YouTube. But more on that in a moment. Now, from that point forward, I was really curious to see how things would develop over time. And with that, we have the next statistic showing the earnings in every single month after that. Now, on this screenshot, you have to go from the bottom where the March is the lowest one, and then we have April, May, June, and so on, all the way up to February, which is the current last month and concluding the year of being monetized of this whole chart, basically. And as you can see, I pretty much consistently made more money in the following month compared to the month before, unless you look at January. However, that's kind of to be expected because December is a really high earning month because there you have the Christmas advertising industry going all out, spending the last advertising dollars of the year so that they get their budgets approved for the next year. And of course, the Christmas time is a great time to advertise because then people are buying more stuff. And that combined with the fact that in January you have a lot of people in holidays, you don't have that much activity going on in terms of advertising, and maybe some people are also not necessarily watching as much of your video. That's why January then becomes a bit of a worse month. But February was a great month after that because it actually was again earning more than January, for example. So basically you can see that there's a clear upward trend with making more videos, gaining more views, gaining more subscribers, and also overall potentially changing or adding to your RPM based on the videos that you can make there. Now this by no means is life-changing money. At least it's not enough to be able to live off of it. And it's also not a chart as I have seen with other content creators who grew much, much quicker. I recently saw a YouTuber who started his channel early 2019 and then by the time August hit was making multiple thousands of euros every single month. However, that's not my chart, that's not my experience. Now that's a comparison that to me sometimes feels discouraging, especially looking at my own numbers and then looking at those success stories from others. However, what I still can see here is that there is something and there is potential. And now it's my turn to actually analyze that, see what kind of topics are better suited for my audience, which topics are more search engine relevant, and of course also which topics have a higher RPM so that I can actually change something about those aspects. Because if I just continue doing the same thing over and over again, there's not going to be much change at all. Now going back to the analytics and looking at the highest earning day, that was actually November 26th, and that was a day where I earned 13.65 euros on my YouTube channel. That was really mind-blowing. Again, that was one of those points where it's like, it just keeps on growing higher and higher. Those highs are getting higher, the lows are getting higher as well, and you can see a nice trend line there. You can of course also see the dip around the new year where the earnings per day are getting lower and lower. People are spending time with their family, they're in holiday mode and those kind of things. So that's also part of this. And of course the spending on advertising is low on that time frame as well. But overall, you can see a trend, and that is again really exciting to me and really powerful. But now let's look at the last month, which is February 2021, and that is of course the conclusion of that whole year of being monetized on YouTube. Now February is kind of a tricky month for YouTubers, I would say, because essentially you have the same month, you probably have the same expenses in terms of insurances and rent and food and all those kind of things. However, the month is a couple days short which also means that you're earning less money in that month as a YouTuber because you're earning money on a daily basis if your videos are being watched. And that's actually really cool because with that, I can see a really interesting trend looking at the January, which was 232 euros and 80 cents. And that actually is crazy to think that I actually earned over 250 euros, considering that if this month had, for example, 31 days or even just 30 days, that's really, really exciting. Also looking at the RPM with 5 euros, that is going up as well. And the highest day was 11 euros and 52 cents. And even that is really cool because I am now seeing those 10 euro days more frequently. And that's really exciting because 10 euro days means with 30 days, that would be 300 euros within a month if that were consistently the case on average. Now, in the beginning, I said I'm going to share how much I earned in that first year being monetized on YouTube, and that's actually 1,779 euros and 4 cents. Now, if you're in US dollars, that's $2,091 and 19 cents. And that is, again, just mind-blowing that YouTube earned $2,000 within 1 year with a channel that has under 10,000 subscribers, even under 5,000 subscribers, and was just monetized on that 1st of March 2020. Now, where am I going to go from here and how is this affecting me as a content creator? Basically, what I already said, it's not yet life-changing money. It's not yet at a point where I can leave everything else behind and just do and focus on YouTube. I am already mostly focusing on YouTube. However, I still have client work that I also do because I need to keep the lights on. And that is actually what I am trying to work toward, is that I can have client work, but I don't have to. I can create more videos, but I don't necessarily have to. Having this constant stream of income from something like YouTube with more or less evergreen content, videos that are being watched even down the line in years to come, that is kind of like where I'm trying to work toward. However, that's also not necessarily super easy because sometimes the videos that are performing really well, the keywords that are really interesting to make videos about, are also not necessarily the most easy to make, for me at least. Sometimes I have these really technical, detailed videos that I want to make, and those really don't get any views because there's just not that big of an audience for that type of content. Now, I'm going to try to balance that act, trying to balance earning money and also having fun with it and making videos that I am excited about and that I want to still share with the world, even if it's just a video that's going to help 100 people. Or I'm trying to learn about SEO and trying to learn optimizing my thumbnails, my keywords, also the topics that I even cover on this channel. Now, something to say about that is that I also can see how bigger channels are starting to not cover certain topics simply because they're not really that big. For example, in the last year, a couple of times I talked about certain adapters and splitter cables that you can use for external microphones with your smartphone. And the problem there is that those splitter cables, those topics are not necessarily as searched for as other topics. And on top of that, even if then someone, for example, tries to purchase one of those adapters usually cost under 10 euros or maybe under 20 euros. And the affiliate commission is also not really that big. So I can totally see how some people stop covering certain topics and start talking more and more about more expensive equipment and more expensive gear, because that is the stuff that pulls more eyeballs and it also gives you more of an affiliate earning. Again, I'm gonna try to have a balancing act between those things. Having something that is valuable for you as the viewer and also being able to slowly build myself up, build the channel up to be at a place where I can earn those 1,000 euros a month, that I can actually start to actually live off of YouTube and continue content creation on this platform with my podcasts, with this channel, with the tutorials, and also with the sharing that I'm trying to do here. Now, something I also want to add here is that these earnings that I shared with you here in this video are just the earnings earned because of YouTube advertising. However, I'm also making money through affiliate systems, for example, and potentially at some point also sponsored videos. At this point, I don't have any sponsored videos on the channel. However, I do have affiliate offers and affiliate codes in a lot of videos. For example, affiliate offers to Amazon, B&H, as well as eBay and Thomann. Those are online stores where you can purchase things, and I will get a small commission if you use my links in the description below. And then I also have things like TubeBuddy, Audio, Walkolution, and similar services where if you choose to sign up to those services or purchase a product, then I will earn a certain commission on those sales. Now, generally speaking, those earnings are also a part of my livelihood at this point. And with those combined, I'm in a place where I don't have to 10x my earnings, but rather maybe 3 or 4x my earnings to actually be able to live off of the earnings that are related to YouTube and not active client work, for example. But that's going to be another video where I'm specifically going to talk about affiliate earnings and how you can start using that. Now, I hope this gave you an interesting insight into the earnings of a YouTube creator. A part of me wants to just make these videos for myself because it is super interesting to look back onto this time where 1 year of earnings was 1,779 euros, but maybe sometime in the future, and I could even see that happening this year, 1 month would just be that exact number. And that's actually what I'm working toward, and I'm super excited to continue that journey. And if you're subscribed to the channel, then I can take you on this journey with me because I'm gonna share about this every now and then. Now, if you have any questions specifically about this video, this topic, or anything related, please leave those in the comment section down below, and I'm gonna try to answer you there or include that question in one of my next videos. And while you're down there, I would appreciate a thumbs up. That always helps. Now, with all that said, I hope you have an amazing day, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.